Assalamu alaikum and welcome to second episode of Lockdown Live. I am Afshin Razavi and I'm your host for today. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, of course, we've got our next set of finalists from a very special category of topical marketing to discuss. But before I move on to the official introductions, I will take this opportunity to thank all those member companies of PAS who have participated in a very noble and special cause from the platform of Effie Pakistan. As you all are aware that we used to give these gift bags to the invitees on our gala night. However, this year we chose to donate these gift bags to the poor and needy people. This was our small contribution alongside with all the member companies. I would especially like to thank Nestle Pakistan, Visconi, Shan Foods, RB Pakistan, Unilever Pakistan, and Candyland. They have been really kind enough to support us all the way. And now moving on to our session. Today, I feel really excited to introduce you to the participants of the show. Among these finalists, I have some really big brands on the show. Brands which are bold, brands which do not fear from taking bold marketing decisions, and brands which inspire others in the world. We have with us Mind Zafar. She's the Senior Brand Manager, Coca-Cola, from Coca-Cola Pakistan, and she's going to discuss her brand campaign, Cricket Anthem. Can we have Maya on the show?
Hi, Afshin. How are you?
Assalamu alaikum, Maya. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Okay, cool. Next, we have Samir Sultan. He's the Marketing Manager, Foods, Unilever, Pakistan. And he will talk about Knorr Green Noodles campaign from Unilever, Pakistan. Assalamu alaikum, Samir. Good. Next, we have Ramisha Temur Mirza. She's the brand manager Sprite from the company Coca-Cola Pakistan, and she will be discussing her campaign Sprite PSL.
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum, Ramisha. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Of course, then we have our very own Ali Rizvi. Being on the jury panel is something he enjoys and has great input when it comes to his judgment. Ali has been in the field of advertising and marketing for more than 25 years, and he is now the CEO and founder of What's. Welcome, Ali, to the show.
Thank you, Afshin. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, panelists. How are you guys?
Welcome to the show, guys. There were two other campaigns which were shortlisted. Food Panda, Bakery Wow Paprika, and OPL PSL. However, these contenders were unable to make the session. With that, we end the introduction. So, guys, with the lockdown now eased, how is it happening in Lahore, Karachi, everywhere? We can start off with Samir. Samir, how is the ease in the lockdown? How are you guys coping with it?
Well, the lockdown's in front of you. I think इस हफ्ते से जरा कमी पेशी आई है lockdown में, but obviously the threat is still real. And I think as a responsible citizen, we should take all the necessary precautions and not to get too excited. Spend our Eid with our loved ones in close proximity, and take care of each other at this particular time.
So, Mind, what did you do for Eid? Like, did you order online kapde? How did it all happen? How do you plan to enjoy your Eid?
I think I would honestly echo, and I'm also trying to practice it personally, that this Eid, we should be very, very conscious of the choices that we make, because I think we owe it to ourselves and we owe it to each other, even on a humanitarian level also, that we should be very conscious of the choices we make. I think now more than ever, we should stay at home and not get too excited, like Samir also said, with the ease of the lockdown. because it is in these weak moments where this pandemic we've seen globally also kind of really outbreaks. And then the repercussions are what you've seen other countries really deal with and crash. So I think let's just kind of pause and hold on to ourselves this Eid and stay indoors. And I've also tried not to do any of these things. And I think I haven't stepped out of home in like literally weeks. So I'm really trying my best to stay at home and be safe for my family and my loved ones. And I wish the same for everyone else.
And Ramita, how do you plan to, like, online calls karengi nani dadi ko, yeah, how do you plan to go about it?
So the same situation is here. I think we have learned now, and this new environment has also taught us to connect with people digitally. And I think we have such forums available, and we have that connectivity now. I speak to my mom, my daughter speaks to her nani and dadi. They are all on call all the time. So I think that is one way we have still remained connected. And yes, we need to practice that self-restraint as well, of not meeting our loved ones physically, because if it's not on us, it's actually dangerous for some elderly people, or they're more prone to these diseases. So I think we need to be more controlled for other people's benefit as well. So I think that's what we're also practicing at home, trying to be very distant. We're trying to follow all the precautions, everything, just so that everyone is safe.
So Ali, आपका काम बिल्कुल different है, it's like more on consultation and also productions and all that. So how did you handle all that during this 2.5 months time?
Afshin, we haven't done any productions, to be very honest with you, in the last 2 months, and especially because the situation and the circumstances are not right. Because anytime we are out producing anything, there's a crew of good 25 to 50 people who is out there, and it's pointless right now to put their lives at risk. However, we have developed an entire, what you can say, safety SOPs that we will be rolling out when we are allowed to shoot as per the law. So that will be there. In terms of some of our work can be done sitting out of home, like the editing, animation, this, that, and the other. So we have equipped all our colleagues to sit at home with good internet connections. And I think the internet calls, the phone calls, they're good. You can just need to connect. Yes, it's a bit time consuming, but you get to learn to live with it. I'd rather not be stupid than be safe. So I think that's what we are doing. And again, the clients have been very understanding. The agencies have been understanding in terms of making sure that we get the things done, but done in the right way. So that's what the protocol is, yeah.
Okay, so this terrible pandemic represents huge challenge right across the globe. How do you guys think your brand has handled the crisis? We can start with Ramisha. How do you think your brand has responded to the crisis during this time?
Sorry, can you repeat your question? Your voice was breaking in midway.
So, Ramisha, this pandemic has erupted. I wanted to know how your brand has responded or handled this crisis during this time. Like, did you guys went into dark? You did not advertise, or you had some other ways to?
So, as I'll speak on behalf of the Coca-Cola company, I think that was a mandate that we took as a company, that we will go in dark, or at least as long as we feel that it's necessary. And that's why you see all our brands would not be on air for some time. And that's a decision that the company has taken, because obviously they are weighing different options on how to spend their budget and allocate to where it's more needed. So I think that's how we have proceeded with our direct marketing expenditure.
Okay. So that covers your part also, mine. So would you like to add on to that?
Yeah, so just building on to what Ramisha said, we've actually identified that there are 3 phases of the pandemic. One is the initial phase, which is the outbreak, and that's where you ensure everybody's safety. And because Pakistan and a lot of countries were in that phase, we took a global decision, like Ramisha said, which was to go into a blackout. So, and with that, we kind of prioritized our spending, and we said we really need to help the community right now versus building brand equity. So that's a decision that we've taken. And as of right now, you can also see that Coca-Cola across all its brands has gone dark on all mediums in Pakistan.
Oh. And okay, so you might have had a strategy for moving forward. We'll come to that again. Sameer, how did your brand handle the crisis? You guys didn't went into dark. I think the food area of Unilever was advertising, right? Or wasn't it? Sameer, can you hear me? I think there's some distortion in Sameer's. Okay, so my question is for Ali. What do you have to say? Should brands advertise and market in these times, or should they not, like Coca-Cola? What is the right strategy, or what is the right approach? Because I was reading somewhere in a research, and it said that brands who have come out and stayed on the front, they are going to recover early that way, rather than those brands who did not advertise or just went into dark. So what is your take?
Honestly, Afshin, there is no right or wrong answer for it. To advertise or not advertise, I think in our life cycle, we haven't experienced such a pandemic that is going on right now. It's a first for most of the brands. But having said that, I think it depends on the communication and what the message is going out, rather than what the brand is saying or not saying, for that matter. If there has been a lot of discussions, like I respect what Coca-Cola has done, and I think it shows out, because there is a discussion, okay, should that money be going out to help people, or instead of sharing your share of voice thing. But then there are brands who have telcos, they have not gone into dark, and they've said, keep talking. We are here in these dark times to make or lighten up your day. So is that wrong? No. As far as the brand stays relevant during this time, I think that's more important than what they say. And that's the secondary message. Obviously, the mood was a little bit somber. People were disturbed. In that particular time, would you have a happy-go communication coming out? I'm not the one to judge, because my mood can be different to the others. But since the Coca-Cola team is here, what they have done with Atif Aslam, I think it's relevant from the month as well, from the times that we are going through. Plus, does that bring the brand into a positive light with the consumer? I'll say yeah. But again, the thing is, at the point of sale, it will make a difference. So I would say that as a brand or as a business, you shouldn't go completely silent. You need to stay relevant. How you do it is more important.
Agree with you completely. So we can start our drill now. The format is very simple. Each of you will be given 5 minutes each to talk about your campaign, and then we'll take it up from there. We can start with mine. Over to you. You have 5 minutes to talk about your campaign, and the campaign is cricket campaign, right?
Yes, thank you, Afshin. So just to give you guys a bit of a recap, the campaign that we're discussing today is going to be the Coca-Cola cricket campaign, which we did in 2019, which was during the Cricket World Cup. So for the first time in 23 years, Coca-Cola actually partnered with ICC, and we were the official beverage partners. So after 23 years, we had gotten an opportunity to actually be on ground on cricket, and historically, cricket has been the strength of our lead competitor. And in Pakistan, while Coke has grown multi-fold and has become the biggest beverage brand and also the most loved brand in recent years, however, there has been an opportunity which was that the passion point, which is cricket, was largely dominated by our key competitor. So can you guys hear me? I can hear a bit of echo in the conversation. Is it okay?
We go on mute. Mike, you continue. We'll go on mute.
Sure, thank you. So anyway, so historically our strategy, so Coke has a very, to drive consumption, we have a very simple strategy. It's twofold. One is that we build brand love by owning passion points, which are music and cricket. The other is that we do occasion building to drive consumption. So in terms of brand building to drive equity, we've always tried to own the passion points, which have been music through Coke Studio. And cricket, historically, we've had a three-tier strategy. The first one is because our competition has always dominated cricket because of their partnership with the local board, which is PCB. We've always had, we've always been on the back front. So what back foot? So what we've done is we said that, historically we would always celebrate the passion of the fans. And we said that, we're going to be more patriotic and we will celebrate Pakistan and our passion for Pakistan and the sport. And then the third thing is what we do is we actually leverage our strength in music. So in 2019, again, we just kind of stuck to this. And the insight that we kind of worked on was that, what is the current dilemma that the TG, which is for us, teens and young adults of Pakistan, millennials primarily, what is their biggest issue that they face? So, we did a lot of consumer research and we came up with this one beautiful insight, which was that, our teenagers feel that, while they have all the platforms to be connected to the world globally, there is a lot of isolation that they feel. Why? Because they feel that, the world judges us. A very interesting fact is that if you actually go on Google and type Pakistan, the top things that you will see are all negative. So we said that, okay, the insight is that everybody in the world actually considers Pakistan to be an extremist nation. And you know what the reality is? We're actually extremists, but we're actually extremists in love, passion, hope, and care, right? So we actually picked up that negative sentiment and gave it a complete spin and turned it around and made it into that, we're extremists in togetherness, in love, in passion. And we completely turned it around and we broke the campaign into two phases. The first phase was the cricket anthem that we launched, which was Hum Ek Hain. Again, like Ali was also talking about this earlier when we were discussing Corona, is that, you stay relevant. So Hum Ek Hain has been something that has been a part of, I think, Pakistan and people who've lived in Pakistan and generally Pakistanis across the years. So we picked that anthem up and we said that, we're going to make it relevant in today's time. And cricket is that passion point that brings the entire nation together, right? When we're winning, there is no tomorrow, right? And when we're losing, we all feel the same way. So it was a great time to actually bring that sentiment to life. And nothing expressed it better than the anthem Hum Ek Hain. So again, if you actually go through that anthem, it takes you through the diversity of Pakistan. It celebrates the culture, the diversity, and it brings together Pakistan in a beautiful way. So that was the first part of it. And throughout the Cricket World Cup, we leveraged the cricket anthem. We actually activated it on all platforms. We even had a special digital activation, which was a digital zone that we had created with the anthem, where we were partnering with Wasim Akram and doing live interviews of the fans and how they were extremely passionate or how they were extreme fans, and doing live interviews all the way from England. The second phase of this campaign was right after the Cricket World Cup. We actually entered and we launched a DVC, which talked about the concept of being extremely Pakistani. And like I said, that our insight was to celebrate the extremism in Pakistan and all the positive extremisms that we have. We built on the different occasions of, how are we extremists? So for example, when a family member comes from, say, is traveling back to Pakistan, it's not one person who will go to pick them up, it's the entire family, right? Because we're extremists in love. We love to show our affection and we love to celebrate it also. So again, the intention was to just, bring Pakistan together and put it back on the world map and literally turn around the notion that is of extremism, that the world looks at us, and give it a complete positive spin. And then the third leg of this campaign was actually to drive transactions, which is also very important for us. So we activated our pack in partnership with one of the leading mobile networks, and consumers could actually tear off our label and win mobile data. Again, because it's a 360-degree IMC and everything kind of comes together, the intention was to actually give people mobile credit so they can stream the Cricket World Cup on their phones. Because we've seen that, digital consumption has really gone up. people love watching cricket matches now on their phones also. So again, it was like a fully integrated campaign, and on every medium, we were trying to give the consumers, celebrate the fans, celebrate our extreme passion for cricket, and bring the campaign to life. The results, I think, this campaign was unprecedented in the history of Coca-Cola, and we achieved the highest ever brand love score for Coca-Cola, not only in Pakistan. Coke also had the highest brand love score in top 32 markets globally. So that was a phenomenal performance, both on our TG and even on general population. And we were able to sustain it for a couple of months. And all of 2019, Coca-Cola, and even today, it continues to have the highest brand love score in the top 32 markets. Even more so in terms of all our brand health indicators, in terms of consumption, in terms of our, say, past 4 week consumption, weekly consumption, we had the highest ever scores. And we continued recruiting more consumers, and this became one of those campaigns with which we were actually able to turn around our cricket association. And for the first time, we overtook and became the most associated sparkling brand with cricket.
Mute somehow. Okay, I was put on mute. One thing which I give credit to Coca-Cola company for the bold campaigns, and this campaign was one of my favorites because converting all the negative connotations into the positive connotations, that is something really great, and it was executed beautifully. And बड़े अच्छे उसमें different slots थे जिसमें सारी वो जगह जहाँ पे हम बहुत over react करते हैं या फिर we show our love and so I think one thing which I would say कि Coke has been one of the brands to take bold campaigns out, like taking head-ons with tea for that matter. आप अफ्तार तो कोक से खोल लेंगे लेकिन आप चाय फिर भी पियेंगे अफ्तारी के बाद. So all that stuff, but वो सारी चीजें जो हम सोचते हैं कि यार क्या, but ले लें उसको head-ons लिया, that was really great. Okay, so Sameer somehow has been having some problems with this, I think, internet connections. Sameer, hi, are you having some internet connectivity problems, I think? Are you online with us? Sameer, can you hear us? Okay, so Ramisha, I think you can start off with your campaign, and then Sameer, are you online with us, or should we move on to Ramisha? Okay, Ramisha, you can take on, and we'll see. We'll connect to Sameer and see how this can be sorted out. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So my campaign is on the Pakistan Super League, and you'll see how exactly Coca-Cola company takes one platform and does it so differently with different brands and so uniquely that you will see how we are able to go after the same passion point and do it completely different. Sorry?
That's my next question for you.
So I'm just answering beforehand. So yeah, so I'll just give you a background of my brand first, and then I'll dive into how we went about the campaign. So lemon lime drinks are very, very relevant for our Pakistani culture. They are they're massive in volumes, and they're most loved by everyone, especially in summers, because there's an innate this innate connotation attached to lemon drinks that they quench your thirst and they cool you down inside out. So you'll see lemon drinks take a spike in summers, and that's where Sprite also comes in. And Sprite, because and if you see how Sprite and lemon lime segment has moved, it has grown double digit for many years. And Sprite has become a growth lever for Coca-Cola company, and globally, it's Sprite Pakistan has become really, really important. And because of its consistent performance, Sprite has really done really well for the company as well, for Pakistan. So when we were sitting on a table one day, we were thinking how to really accelerate that momentum and get that acceleration in recruitment and kind of, be more differentiated. And there were two ways to go about it. Like mine mentioned, either you start building on certain occasions and do a ritual building exercise, which we were doing then with refreshment and on spicy. And there's another way to tap into is your passion points, and that's where you really get to connect with the teens and your young adults, and that really builds your brand equity. And that's what we took on. So we knew that there are two passion points primarily, which Pakistanis literally die for. That there's music and then there's cricket, and cricket is literally followed like a religion in Pakistan. Cricket match ho jaye and the world goes crazy, right? So music was already owned, and it's done beautifully by our flagship brand. So that left us with the space of cricket. Even in cricket, and I'm sure you would be asking that in future as well, how when Sprite segregated that the same platform was that we went after the local cricket. Sprite comes with Sprite comes with certain attributes to the brand. So about the brand, Sprite is all about self-expression. It's about quenching your thirst, physical and emotional. It's about being who you are. It refreshes you, and those are the attributes that were really linking back to the cricket platform. And that's what we try to establish. So we thought of activating PSL and going into that for the first time. But like a Coca-Cola company does everything, we wanted to go with an impact. So we didn't go with one team or one logo placement on one of the jerseys, but we went with the full 360-degree campaign. We knew that there were certain restrictions entering cricket, the same that Coca-Cola faced. It's owned by, so there are some contractual obligations due to competition, due to which we can't really connect or go into the national cricket team or on any national platform. But PSL actually gave us that way to get into cricket and get those star players that we wanted to without violating any of the obligations. So what we did was we went ahead and partnered with the teams directly. Now these teams are separate entities; they're not directly involved with any of the competition legalities. So we were able to get 4 teams on board, and we were able to establish, and we got the title of the official thirst quencher, because that's what we also wanted to pivot our campaign around. So we went ahead, we got players from those teams, and then we made a whole big 360 plan around it. So it was 4 short TVC format copies that we developed, centering around all those 4 players. And then we actually came up with this co-creative idea of when you're thirsty, all you see is the Sprite. जब प्यास से गला खुश्क हो तो Sprite नजर आती है. And that's how we leveraged our players as well. कि जो भी आपका खेल के मैदान में कुछ भी हो रहा हो, but when you're thirsty, all you would want is a Sprite. And we had to do that very beautifully and cleverly, because there were certain restrictions on the players as well, of not holding the bottle, of not looking at the bottle, and blah blah blah. And given those restrictions, we were still able to crack those ideas. We were able to project them really well, and that really did well for the brand in return. And I think it was appreciated across the PSL tournament. We were able to get high media share of voice. We cracked deals on the media broadcasters. We were able to have a good share of voice overall in PSL. And even though we were going for the first time in this tournament, we came out to be the most recalled brand in the PSL season. So that's the kind of impact that we generated. Not just that, if you look at other touch points, we went massive on out of home. It was, and primarily because these cricketers and our local team, and if you see how we've selected, they all have a story to tell. All these cricketers come from a background. They have been fighting their way through becoming a mainstream star, and all those things eventually link back to how beautifully this Sprite personality comes out. And that's exactly what we try to do with them. And so we were able to do that on Event Massive on out of home. We had a great digital campaign as well, and that was done with all the international stars, because we know that Pakistanis also are, they really want to connect with the international players as well as our local players. So we had this a Pata contest. So just to have that fun moment, like a friendly rivalry, and to maintain that as well, even though we believe that, you know, everyone has their own space, and they're all trying to do what they really are want to do. We're still trying to see how friendly they want to be when it comes to a competition. And then we had all these players passing the padda to each other. You can see different teams, different players. Dawson was there, Milan was there. They all were passing these paddas to each other, and I think that really generated a lot of engagement on digital as well. Along with that, we did augmented reality for the first time. We took one team and we had this really big projection done at the Packages Mall, where you could actually use your phones and see the video come out on your mobile phones. It was Darren Sami and Hamza that we partnered with, and they came through Peshawar's Almi stream, and we were able to generate that as well. So there was a lot of work done on digital. There was a lot of work done leveraging new technology. There was a lot of work done on overall TVCs and generating that brand pull that we wanted to. This all resulted beautifully for Sprite. I think doing this for the first time with PSL and venturing into mainstream cricket. Sprite actually, like I said, it was the most recalled brand for PSL, despite certain brands being investing for a long time. We actually came out to be the official thirst quenchers for the teams. So we were kind of paralleling and mirroring our own Sprite's the brand position. And along with that, the recruitment, we had really good numbers in recruitment. I think we reached the highest ever in recruitment. We became the most loved lemon lime drink in the category. Along with that, we had the most recall, the most top of mind, and we became the highest. We came associated the highest in the whole category when it came to refreshment and thirst quenching. I think that was a bullseye strategy where we brought together the teams, our brand, and the passion point. It woven so beautifully together that we had actually hit the sweet spot. So yeah, just a summary.
Chale, aap thoda sa I think we have Sameer online and we'll just move on to him. Sameer, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
So Sameer, moving without wasting any more time, because आपका connection I think कुछ मसला कर रहा है. We must hear from you about your campaign, which is Kannur Green Noodles, one of the finalists in Topical Marketing. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you. So I think our story is a little different from Ramsha and Mariam. I think we're predominantly a kids' snacking choice. There's a lot of pressure. You understand how kids are, they have such short attention spans. But I think we took a very focused approach. We felt that to be the most, clutter-free brand in the snacking arena, we had to do something different. Apart from, advertising and apart from just having a new communication, we had to go big this time. And I think one recent trend, if you pick up the food market right now, a lot of food coloring and experiment with colors is happening. Whether you look at your snacking market, whether you look at your chips or your burgers, you'll see multiple colors in the market, and that's something which really, really appeals to kids. So keeping that trend in mind and leveraging the biggest sporting occasion for Pakistan, although our TG might be young, but cricket is something which is completely affinitive to them. Their superstars are the likes of your Ahmed and your Afridis. We felt that this was the most auspicious occasion to come up not only with the communication, but to convert our noodles, historic Kannur noodles, which have the chapata and the chicken flavors we have, to green color. So we used we worked out with our R&D department. We got a natural preservative-free color so that they're very safe for kids as well. And we for that 6 weeks duration, all Kannur noodles being sold were green in color. And the encouragement was for the kids to enjoy their favorite, most sporting event in Pakistan with their most favorite noodles brand, which not only it appeals to them, but also has a green coloring. And that's something which got a very, very good response internally and externally. We saw our numbers go up. We saw our brand love measures go up, and we felt that this is something, experimentation with colors is something which is going to stay in the market. It's a trend that is going to stay. And I think coupling that with the biggest occasion in Pakistan, which is cricket, I think that's something which is done really, really wonderful for us. And we as a Unilever team are very proud of it. I think one more thing I'd like to add over here is that uh, you know we were slightly apprehensive at the first time. You have such a historic brand which has been selling your iconic flavors, but the response which we got, and we know the fact that the kids love these green noodles so much. I still have my cousins and my nephews call me and they're like, I want my green noodles. Unfortunately, that was a limited edition for us, but I think the insight is very simple. When it comes to kids, they, although they have a short attention span, and they're looking for constant innovations, but something as simple as having your noodles as green and coloring them to their liking is something that can do miraculous wonders for any brand over here as well.
Okay, cool. So I have a couple of questions from you all.
Please.
One is for mine and for me, so whoever wants to answer this. So Sprite and Coca-Cola, they share the same category. Okay. They share that they come up from the same company, and yet they're competing against each other in PSL, right? So did you guys strategize it that way? There are two legs to my question. From the first question is, did you guys strategize it that way कि Coke भी है और Sprite भी है, तो तीसरा कोई नहीं आना है, बस हम ही दोनों ने रखना है, या was there any other strategy to it?
Okay, I can speak and then mine you can add to that. So like Afshin, I was mentioning, this is how the Coca-Cola company does it. So there are we have limited choices of platforms, and we have limited passion points available in Pakistan, which we can really tap. And that's what we do. We actually start dissecting everything, right? Going to the real consumer truth, the human truth of every moment that they're pitching on. We go into different target groups. We go into different occasions, different drinking moments, different reasons for drinking. And that's how we start to segregate which reasons or which moments really feed into the Coca-Cola brand's personality, and what are those areas which Sprite can own. So even for cricket, like I said, Sprite went ahead with a local match, that's PSL, because it resonated very well with Sprite's personality. It's bold, it's all about self-expression, it's about breaking free, and that's a ground where a lot of young talent is given an opportunity to rise to the mainstream. So that's what Sprite also stands for: to be yourself, to refresh yourself, and just be who you want to be. Coca-Cola, on the other hand, has and mine, you can obviously speak for that. It's about uniting people, bringing them together. It's about bridging the divides. It's about giving comfort and bringing happiness to people's lives. And it's a more purpose-driven than just being very focused on one or two instances. So that's where Coca-Cola comes in. So Coca-Cola already has a partnership with ICC. And that's where the national, all these World Cups are automatically come under the umbrella of Coca-Cola. And that's where they start to charge towards in their campaigns. For Sprite, we become very relevant to those occasions, which will eventually lead to the refreshment and thirst quenching moments. So mind if you want to add, I think.
Yeah, so just building on to what Ramisha said, I think it's that when we also talk about our brands, we also look at our portfolio strategy, right? So Sheen, so like you rightly pointed out, individual brands have their own strategy, but on a portfolio level, we're also very, very clear about the choices that we're making. So that's number one. The other thing is, like Ramisha said, it's just about what actually feeds into the brand and the brand values. So Coke, like she said, is more inclusive. We don't compete. And of course, you see, we also have to be very choiceful in where we're going to spend our money. So with ICC, we had actually the official partnership. We had the title sponsorship. So that actually meant that we could own all of the Cricket World Cup and really activate it as per our brand ethos. On the other hand, in the case of Sprite, they've leveraged PSL, it's local, and like she said, that it's all about competing and actually providing in that context refreshment in the context of cricket. I think both of them were approached in very, very different ways. The thing that kind of overlaps is the passion point, but again, the passion point on two very different levels. So the way it's even activated and the way it's thought out and the strategy, it's completely different.
So I guess, my next question was, okay, did these two brands cannibalized each other? So that way, it must not have, or did it? One of you guys, like Sprite or Coke, did they cannibalized each other's share in the market, or how do you say that?
Actually, not at all. The thing is that, the timing of the two campaigns was also very, very different. So cricket was somewhere around June and July, and generally our source of business for both the brands is also very different. So it actually, Coke and Sprite complement each other in gaining overall market share versus cannibalizing each other. So far, we've actually been able to grow the pie and get more consumers recruited to the overall consumer base versus actually eating into each other's share.
Yeah, and I think one is black and one is white. So I guess that's how you guys differentiate also, right?
Well, it did cannibalize their chances of winning gold since they were in the same category. So
that's okay. We're one team. We're still trying to
portfolio strategy.
I was part of the jury, which was looking after the Topical. So first of all, I think congratulations to all the finalists. It's not an easy category. It's one of the largest competed category, I think 19 entries. And it's not only category-wise, it's cross-category. So you're basically competing with all brands which are operational out there. And I think one thing that we have seen over the years is that this has grown as we used to give examples of Super Bowl and this, that, and the other. So it's nice to see that brands are actually creating communication which is tailor-made for this specific event. And within this Coca-Cola, among Coca-Cola, there are two brands which are competing against each other. Then we've got a brand like Knorr, which people would not usually even think that would come in a PSL format. So it's good to see that. It's healthy that way. And again, so it's a long way that you guys have come. The best part is that usually when we are judging it, there's the insight, there's the objectives, and how the build-up happens. Somewhere in the execution or the creative bit of it, it just kind of takes a nosedive in terms of how it does. But in this particular category, since the execution is also based on the final outcome and it has to shine, and I'm just going to take the example of the Coca-Cola anthem that Hum Ek Hain. Even within the jury, I think it was hard for us to kind of pinpoint on which campaign we like. And not kids, like when Knorr came in, we thought, why are they here? And once we went through the case and we looked at the execution, we were like, wow, they actually geared up towards this event. So it's healthy. It's very healthy to see brands coming up with those insights and developing it to make a winning case. So again, congratulations to you guys. You even making it to the finalist, I think it's a huge achievement against the sort of guys you were competing. I think HBL is the other finalist, Afshin, if I may correctly.
Two other finalists, HBL and Food Panda. And I agree with you, Ali, completely, because it's a cross category. You've got different target audiences.
Yes.
It's very difficult for the jurors over there to actually, pin down to what level. Because Coke hai, Sprite hai, apne results bhi hai, they've been able to achieve those results and all. And then we've got Knorr noodles, which is a kids brand, and yet competing in the same category. So, Sami, my next question is for you. Dhanadhan Green. Har ho ya jeet, spirit na ho beat. I love the caption, by the way. As far as I remember, the Bordeaux Buster snack, it was, Knorr noodles were positioned as Bordeaux Buster snack. And so how difficult was it to play with the target audience you had? And yet promoting it in PSL, which is, a brand. PSL itself is a brand. और वहाँ पे आपको पता है, people like Food Panda, people like HBL, people like Coke, Sprite, you name the brand, and they're all there. So, making a kids brand come into that platform, how difficult was it?
So it's actually very difficult, and I'll be honest, because unlike young adults, kids actually have a much shorter attention span. But Knorr noodles, for the last 10 years, I think the promise the brand gives is, it's that Bordeaux busting brand that's going to give you that me time for the kid. We treat our noodles as that, me time for the kid. That's a snack. That's its own choice. I think the insight for the World Cup was that I think one of the most annoying things about any sporting event, any live sporting event, is the ad break. And I think whether that's true for whether it be cricket or whether it be for any other sport or any of your favorite drama serial as well. I think what we did as a brand was we took the insight that that is the most boring moment of that sporting event, and that's where Knorr noodles comes into play. Gives the chance to the kid to enjoy his most favorite snack while taking that few minutes break and then getting back onto the screen and enjoying his most favorite sporting event as well. That's the legacy the brands has. If you in the last 5-10 years, multiple such occasions have been picked up, and I think anybody over here would also agree with me that when you're watching a live sporting event, the minute the ad break comes, that's the most annoying part. And and I think that's where the brand came into play. We took that most boring moment of the sporting event, and we placed our brand to ease the situation in the kids' life, and to give them time to enjoy and prepare their most favorite snacking solution right now.
Yeah, so cool. The anthem is great. The cricket anthem which you guys I think it's approximately 4-minute anthem, if I'm not wrong. It grows on you as the beat and etc. That it just grows on you after you listen to it a couple of times. Who composed the music score for you? Was it like a Coke Studios?
So hats off to Zulfi.
Okay, cool.
It was the brainchild of Zulfi.
Yeah, it's
so
amazing.
This is a big shout out to you. Actually, I think it honestly wouldn't be fair to not name, it's very interesting that we were brainstorming on the inside part, and we were all sitting, and one of the people from our agencies, and we were just discussing that what is that insight, how do we crack it? And there was this one person, he was just like that, okay, Pakistan is globally isolated, this is our global perception. And he just goes in that moment, yeah, but we are extremists, Pakistanis are extremists. And we said, yes, that's the insight, and that's what we're going to pivot it. So I think it's not just one person, it's just the collective genius of everybody who I know is watching and is commenting. So this one definitely goes out to, starting from Abbas Arsalan to Hamza to Waqas, Umar Malik, Mac, everybody, all the way to Zehra, Muzakkir. And if anybody I've missed out, I'm really sorry, but I don't think, and our partners at CCI, which is our bottling partner, I don't think we would have been able to kind of get to where we are without all of these people.
Yeah, I think great campaigns. So guys, do you have any questions among your category? For example, Sami, do you have any question for Coke team or Sprite team? Or mine, do you have any questions for your competitor in this category?
I think I don't have a question, but I have a comment, and that comment is that I think being a part of this conversation just makes me realize, and Ali's comments also, that I think for Pakistan it's a very, very proud moment that our marketing has excelled so much that in a category like topical marketing, you have such great cases that have come in, and such diverse cases all the way from banking to a food aggregator to Knorr to beverages. So I think it's a moment where we should all take pride in and be super proud of the great work that's happening within the industry. And honestly, I think this session was very, very inspiring. So I think maybe a moment to just kind of appreciate the great work that's happening.
Yeah. Samir, do you have any questions for your competitor? Or Ramesha, do you have any questions for Kunor T?
I think I just have a comment as well. I think this is more kudos to the whole fraternity as a whole. I think tropical marketing is one of the most exciting times any brand management can go through. I'm sure Mariam and Ramsha recall their days in which things happen so fast. It's such an exciting, it's a dynamic
It's
environment.
mine.
Yeah.
I was wondering, was Maria?
It's mine. So it's a dynamic environment, and I think cricket is such a patriotic and such a collective sport as well. And I think I remember you read out the line right now. Haro ya jeet, Kanor. I think what the message we wanted to just go through, and I think the message all the brands wanted to see. What I remember from last year as well, is that winning or losing is arbitrary. I guess getting together collectively, enjoying the patriotic spirit is the thing that comes out, and that's something which is remembered as well till this day as well. So just a big kudos and a shout out to the whole fraternity who participated. And I think there's going to be a lot of great and a variety of brands that are going to be participating in the years to come in this particular category.
I agree with you, Sanjay. Renisha, would you like to add?
Yeah, I'll also just add my comments. I think this is a great platform where young and aspiring brand managers or marketeers can really get to connect and learn more about how things are being developed in all over the industry. They have many examples to study. They have more content now available locally rather than just Googling stuff on a very international level. So I remember हम जब होते थे छोटे होते थे, we used to look up to brands which aren't international brands and used to see how they are advertising and how are they positioning their brand, and all those case studies that we went through in our college as well were primarily on them. But I'm really proud of the work that we are as an industry coming together and producing. We have given so many examples and so many set so many case studies for the younger generation. I think if they start working and they start going through Google and stuff, our work will start outshining now. And I think this really makes me proud to be also associated to this fraternity and doing so much for and being a part of that journey to inspire newcomers and people who really want to make their mark in this industry. I think that's a great way of flourishing the work.
I agree.
I think, Afshin, if I can just wrap it up, and again, if when I will say this, it makes me sound very old. But previously, we won't even think about touching a passion point which our competition owns or is a part of. What we are seeing now is brands are challenging the status quo. And not only challenging, we are saying, okay, we can play your game and we can play it better than you. And let's see who has the more wittiness or creativity to come and defend their ground. Previously, we won't do that. We'll say, you know what, ye nahi hai, ab kuch aur sochte hain, koi aur cheez nikalo, isko karo. And again, coming back, that a kids brand will say, "Ki bacche hain to kya hua? We can compete with all the badas out there, and let's see how you will be stopping us." So it's a very positive sign for our marketing in whole. And I think, Main, you really need to give a shout out to Nida Zafar. She's your biggest supporter. So just a shout out to Nida Zafar.
So we'll come back to the comments. But I just
my sister.
When I think it's in the comments.
Shout out to Shine Zishan, two people that I met.
So I just want to remind everyone that you are live on Effie Pakistan page and you can comment and ask direct questions to the finalist and our guest tutor, Ali Rizvi. Ali, I have a question
I
for
think
you.
It's great.
Main, were you speaking something? Saying something to us? Okay, so Ali, I have a question for you. You've been on the jury panel for or award programs for years. What is the cruelest comment you have come across so far?
From the jurors or from the contestants? You need to be specific. I can tell you both.
I can take both. And from the general public also.
I think...
Sorry, I kind of lost you guys. My internet was acting up.
So, mind, we've got a question for Ali. That what is the cruelest comment as a juror he had come across? So he's going to answer in a couple of ways for us.
I think this is my 6th year with previously with PAS and the 2nd year with Effie's. As an agency, the cruelest comment that we would dish out to PAS was, यार ये award तो पिके हुए हैं. ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? इतनी अच्छी creativity थी. इस पे तो award हमारा ही बनता था. And I'm going to put myself out there when I say this is one of the events. We were so dead sure for one of our brands कि जब nomination हुई तो half of us were like raised half in the air कि ये तो हम लेने जा रहे हैं stage पे, and somebody else got that award. And I think that's when I sat down, and that was my comment to Kamar back in the day. And then he made me go through the entire process of how it gets done. And then the effectiveness, and realized that a good communication or a beautifully executed piece of communication or a TVC does not guarantee you an award. It might get you praises from your fraternity कि क्या काम किया है, very nicely done, बहुत अच्छी TVC बनाई है. But does that translate into sales? That's a completely separate discussion altogether. I think recently the cruelest comment, and I'm pretty sure you are getting it as well, that we do get, सभी जूरी में है, कोई रह गया था, उसको भी बुला लेते हैं. And then तो पहले तो आपको अपनी सिलेक्शन पे होता है कि यार क्या बिल्कुल ही फारिग हूँ कि मैं जूरी में जाके बैठ रहा हूँ. But then you say no. Then you explain कि Effie है, अब 10-12 लोग चाहिए होते हैं, बहुत सारे लोग show up भी नहीं होते. So that's the comment, and I think from the client side, nothing. They are pretty much the client and the agency. I think in this entire process is the most बिचारा one, because वो कुछ कह भी नहीं सकते, और कुछ कहेंगे तो कहीं उनकी award पे तो नहीं असर पड़ जाएगा, हालांकि we can't do anything. It's a collective judgment. There are multiple rounds, and a good communication, a well executed campaign, I think, and that involves every piece that substitutes or contributes to it, will win. It has to win, and it is heartening to see that we have you're making life difficult for the jurors now. Okay, we need to go back and say कि अच्छा park करो, बहुत impress कर रही है, but maybe let's come back, and this is the benchmark. Does this communication come as a benchmark to it? So we go back and talk about it, and eventually at the awards day, last year at least, and previously, you don't get surprised. The result or the feeling that you get within a boardroom or within a jury room, you get to see that when it translates into award. So yeah, again, congratulations to the finalists, and keep up the good work. I think you guys are setting the new benchmarks and pushing the creative envelope. So all the power to you.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you.
अली, आपके एक कमेंट पे कि सभी हैं जूरी में, तो आपको पता है कि ये पूरी साइंस है.
ये मुझे नहीं पता है, ये साइंस मुझे पता है.
ये आपको पता है, ये सबको नहीं पता है, because 200 entries judge करना, it's impossible for 10 people to judge 200 entries. So we've got a entire science attached to it. We've got a couple of jurors who come on board. We divide them into a couple of rooms. They are to witness, because एक juror के लिए बहुत मुश्किल है कि वो एक दिन में 10 forms भी पढ़ ले, और हम 10 से ज्यादा पढ़ाते हैं forms. और
20 होते हैं, खातून 20.
नहीं, इस दफा हमने आपको कम दिए थे अली. तो but it's a entire science. But मैं उन लोगों के लिए जो बोलते हैं सभी हैं जूरी में, तो उनके लिए एक और बात भी बोल सकते हैं, हम अंगूर खट्टे हैं. So good luck next time. And एक और question है अली मेरे पास आपके लिए. You've been evaluating forms for years. Which area do you think has improved over the years?
Which area has improved? I think the insight mining. That's something that people or brands are giving a special focus on, because the business issue is always there. The challenges are there, but how you're going to go address that challenge, I think that becomes a critical thing. And what sort of insight? Because again, there are two brands who are competing with the same share of throat. So what are they going to go associate themselves? Their insights are very different when they're talking to the same consumer. So they have defined their own consumption moments within their consumers and how they're going to be, so they don't end up eating into each other's share. Same goes with a brand like Knorr, who says कि अगर आप Sprite पी रहे हैं या Coke पी रहे हैं, मगर खाएंगे तो आप Knorr ही, चाहे वो occasion कोई भी हो. And I think that's something that we have seen develop beautifully over the years, and a special focus, because strategy in most of the campaigns seems like a stepchild. आप इनसाइड ये स्ट्रेटेजी को बाद में बोलते हैं, आप बताओ यार टीवीसी बनेगा क्या, कितना अच्छा बनेगा, क्या मैग्नीट्यूड का बनेगा, इसमें एम्बेसडर कौन होगा, बाकी चीजें तो खुद ही सही हो जाएंगी. बट आई थिंक डिलीवरिंग द राइट इनसाइट, that's something that has drastically come improved, and filling up the form, some of the forms that we have seen, because in 16-20 minutes there's so much that we can read. Adding too much into it does not make it a winning form. आप सब भर दोगे, हम पढ़ ही नहीं पाएंगे, तो फायदा क्या है उसका? So even the filling out of form, and I'm not gonna name the brand, but they have done a very good job to be very concise and to the point when it comes to filling out the forms. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I have one question for all three of you. Define your brand in 3 words. We'll start with Sameer. How do you define your brand in 3 good words?
The most preferred snacking choice for Pakistani kids.
Okay. Rameesha.
Most preferred snack.
Most preferred. I thought it would be the only snack.
We have to be realistic as well. We're competing with a huge market. But I think the goal, like I was saying, I think after dominating the noodles market itself, I think if you had to ask anyone in the Knorr team what their motto is and how they live their life, I think the one task is simple: just be the most preferred snack for Pakistani kids.
Yeah. Okay. Rameesha, coming to you.
Yeah, so Sprite, it's bold and edgy, and it's the best thirst quencher that you can find. It quenches your thirst like no one else, nothing else.
Okay. Bold.
That's what the brand stands for. Edgy. And quenches your thirst.
Yeah. Okay, mine. How do you define your brand?
I think 2 things. So I'm going to go away from the 3-word restriction. I think Coke is inclusive and universal. I think, and the other thing is that for Pakistan, it's the biggest and most loved sparkling brand. So I think with that, like, that's probably a pride that we carry wherever we go.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys would like to answer this question, but who are your biggest threat or competitor? Mine, you can answer it first.
I think for Coke, I think we're at a stage where I think we are probably our biggest competitor and threat, you know, if you look at it, because the day we become complacent about the fact that we are the most loved brand and the biggest brand, I think that's the day that is probably going to be the end of us in this industry. So I think we've gotten to that stature that we should continue to strive to be better. And I think that's the motto that we also live with. We actually go to work every morning because we love what we do. And we want to inspire people and we want to live our purpose and continue to be better at it. So I think versus looking at another brand or other category, I would say that, you know, we are our own biggest threat and competitor.
The way you guys politically correct answers. Sameer, do you have a similar answer?
No, I genuinely mean it.
No, I think in our case, in Knorr Noodles' case, I think our biggest threat is anybody who's occupying the 4 to 6 p.m. snacking slot, whether that be your biscuits, whether that be your chips, whether that be your frozen foods, your nuggets or your fries. I think when it comes to kids, you know, you have limited snacking timings. The 4 to 6 slot is the biggest snacking slot for Pakistani kids at least, and anybody who's competing in that is our biggest threat. And I think that's the route with the brand is taking right now, to capture as much as share of throat in the snacking category.
I agree with you. Snack is a very big category. So you're competing with chips, you're competing with biscuits, candies, and whatever, and now cupcakes as well. Ramita, do you have a similar answer as of mine?
So, like we said, we believe in portfolio strategy. So it's going to be similar. But yes, I think the threat comes when you start believing in the status quo and you stop challenging that. I think both the campaigns and PSL as well is really mirroring that. We did not stop because of some comparative obligations or legalities or anything, but we found a way around it. So we have started thinking in a 10x manner to deliver what we want to deliver. And I think the threat will only start feeling like a threat when we stop believing in our brand and ourselves. So right now, I think we don't see that till the time we are on top of our game and we are innovating and we being more challenging, there is any threat that we should be really threatened with.
Okay, so guys, do you have any questions for our juror? For Ali, do you have any questions for him? He's right there. He was one of the juror this year as well. Do you have any questions for him regarding the form, the process, or anything else you have in mind? कोई सवाल नहीं आप लोग के पास?
Actually, no. When are you guys announcing the results?
आप लोग बहुत खुश हैं यार अपने जूरी से.
I think he answered everything you asked him, like the cruelest of the questions. He told you about the incidents and when he got the cruelest of the comments and what's new and how he's thought that this is evolving, Effie is evolving, and all the entries are evolving. I think that's a good enough insight that we got from him as well on the Effie.
अफशीन, ये सवाल आपको ना बाकी 14 लोगों से पूछना चाहिए जो फाइनलिस्ट नहीं हुए हैं. So I'm pretty sure they will have a lot of questions for you.
But really, 16 to 18 minutes
No, just
to
one
read
question.
one form is actually criminal. Like 16 to 18 minutes just to read a form. That's a lot of pressure on these guys.
But you know what? We kind of pan out our day. The mornings are a bit slow. Then as soon as we get close to the lunchtime, तो वो हो चुकी होती है आपकी rhythm. You in the rhythm. Lunchtime के बाद you again nap for 1 hour. And that उस napping में जिसका भी आ जाए form वो उसकी किस्मत है. But then we go through the rest. So it's divided pretty. I think the शुरू का hour is a cruel one. But once you get the feel of it, then it becomes pretty easy. Yeah.
And don't worry, we are there to support all the jury members. And हम बेफिक्र हैं, हम जाने नहीं देते इनको जब तक ये फॉर्म अच्छे से चेक नहीं कर लेते. So कोई question?
Just one question, Ali.
Ji.
When are you guys planning to announce the results?
I think that's Afshin.
Yeah, so I'll answer that question. So we are just Effie worldwide throughout the all regions have been they've just postponed their events, on ground events, because collecting 1,000 people on ground is not possible right at this point in time. So what we are doing is that post Eid, we are going to monitor how the situation goes. Eid किस तरह से जाता है, count बढ़ता है, नहीं होता है, and then we are going to take probably. So we are going to announce our next course of action in June, inshallah. And आप लोगों को क्या लग रहा है कि यार बस अब announce हो जाना चाहिए, जो भी है, बस क्या है, कब तक चलेगा? अब तो next awards आ या क्या?
No, actually, I think we're so used to the timeline of pre-Ramzan having pass and Effies that it is like a kind of a highlight in the marketing calendar of all marketers. So I think it was one of the things that we were looking forward to. And yes, of course, it's an unfortunate turn of events. But yes, here's hoping for all the best and good luck to everybody.
Okay. So guys, I have one last question for you. It's a pitch from all the finalists. It's an Effie pitch, Effie Awards program pitch. Why should people participate in the awards program? It's a pitch for Effies. Samir, we can start off with you.
Afshin, I lost your voice. Could you just repeat your question, please?
So my question is that why should people participate in the awards program? It's a pitch for me.
I think people should participate, not more for not in the ambition of winning or losing. I think that's something which will the jurors will decide. But I think as more of a reflection, as a learning ground. I think what with these sessions as well, and I know we're all curious about finding out who the winners are or not. But the fact that when you see these categories, when by this session only, I'm sure people are listening. The amount of reflection, the amount of learning that happens by just like people like us talking. I think that's the real beauty of this fraternity and this whole Effie's award as well. They should participate, because if they want to be better marketeers, they have to learn, they have to reflect, and they have to be inspired. Competitive spirit is there when there's everybody wants to win, but just the fact that you can take advantage of this fraternity we have, which is doing such great work, you can inspire great campaigns to come in the future years then.
Yeah, I agree with you, समीर. यूनिलीवर की एक चीज जो मुझे बहुत पसंद है, मतलब ऑब्वियसली बहुत सारी एंट्रीज आती हैं और आप हर एंट्री में जीतते नहीं हैं, आपके कुछ में सिलेक्ट हो जाते हैं, बट दे वुड नेवर कम अराउंड एंड से कि हम इसमें क्यों नहीं जीते. There are a couple of companies, there are a couple of people who would just call and ask क्यों नहीं जीते, but हमें यूनिलीवर से कभी, because वो स्पिरिट रहनी चाहिए. It's an awards program.
I think recognized hona is a victory enough. Just to share the podium with such great work and such great brands is the victory enough. I think that's the way at least we see it as a company. That's the way I know my team sees it. And I remember these awards like like someone was mentioning that this is a highlight of the marketing calendar. I think it's just a great platform to learn and just get inspired from each other, and you'll talk to your kids or your younger teams, and they remember this. There's a lot of work that they'll copy proudly. So that's also something good, and I'm just really glad that these sessions are also being done despite the pandemic we're going through. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are tuned in and just like understanding what our campaigns was all about, recalling those dynamic days we went through as together, whether it be our agencies or whether it be our teams. And this is good enough appreciation for all of them. So yeah, thank you, Afshin.
Yeah, Mayan, do you want to pitch for us as well?
Yes, I think I echo everything Samir has said, so I won't repeat that. But just one thing additional, I think this platform is a celebration of the great marketing work that's happening in Pakistan. And I think, like he said, it's not about who wins or who loses. It's just that as a fraternity, we all come together to celebrate the great work. And whatever company that is, whatever category that is, I think this puts Pakistan on a global map. It really takes us to places. So I think, this year we went to Ad Asia, and honestly, the kind of examples that they were quoting coming out of Pakistan was truly humbling and inspiring. I think if anybody looks at Effie's as just a place where they come to compete and win, I think they should really change their perspective and start looking at it from a point of view of celebrating the great work and getting inspired.
Thank you, Mayan. Oh, Rumisha, do you want to add something onto it?
So I think they both have said the same, what I wanted to say. Like I said earlier as well, I think we have set a great platform for aspiring and young talent and young marketeers to come and look at the work that is being produced by Pakistan and this fraternity, this industry in different categories. I think, like I said, when it's a dream that once they start Googling stuff, our work starts to come on the top list. I think that is, we are on the track. And it's just showcasing, coming together as a team, as a fraternity, and exchanging ideas and doing best work and keep that competitive spirit alive. I think that's very important for us to be motivated to do more and deliver better results and better campaigns year on year. I think that has this platform has really helped develop that.
Yeah. So with that, so guys, you just have 1 minute each. Okay. Tell us, why do you think you should be a winner in this category? Okay, I'll just start my stopwatch and you have to pitch for your campaign. We'll start with, okay, mine this time. Your time starts.
Okay. Okay, so I think Coke and Cricket was one of those campaigns that kind of celebrates the diversity of Pakistan and brings together and unites the nation like no other. It really celebrates what we stand for and what also the brand stands for, which is celebrating our extremism in togetherness, love, and passion. And we've done it by owning a platform that we had absolutely no strength over and completely dethroning our key competitive competitor. So I think, like we've felt very inspired doing this. I hope we've been able to actually bring the nation together and unite them through this platform.
Cool. 41 seconds. Okay, Samir, you're next. Let me just reset the. Yeah. So we'll start now.
I think we should win because we were able to capture the attention span of a 12-year-old who is so busy, who is always on the go, who's always running, disturbing his parents. And, I think we should just win because of the fact that we were able to give that child, and that 13-year-old, that 12-year-old, that child of a moment of, an appreciation of him, give him a snack which is truly his, which he can enjoy thoroughly through this, auspicious sporting event, and have a memory of. And I think that's the one of the biggest reasons why I feel that having a product that was integrated, just not just the communication, having a product that actually lived the Danadan Green spirit, I think that makes a very good case for our Kannur Green campaign as well.
Okay, cool. 49 seconds. Ramisha, you're next. Yeah, your time starts now.
Okay, so Sprite and PSL actually encompasses everything that we've talked about. It was not just any other campaign. We did we did go into this passion point and tapped into it for the first time on such a massive level. And we did that in a very impactful way. This also shows how we challenged the status quo. We weren't complacent. We weren't just looking at big things in black and white or in any legal or contractual obligations. We weren't looking at how the competition is not allowing us to enter the stream, but we actually took another route and did exactly the same thing. So a lot of things that we overturned for the competition and created that impact big and bold. It also delivered spot on the brand's equity. It's about refreshing people's life. It's about letting them be who they are, expressing themselves. I think cricket resonates the same thing. The players that we chose resonates the same thing. The whole campaign that we delivered the same message again and again. So I think overall it became a very impactful and a spot on campaign for Sprite.
बहुत बोलते हैं यार. 1 minute से
Well, if you so my summary was for I think more than 5 minutes. What did you expect? There's so much to talk about. So this is like a year's work.
Okay, so for all the people out there, they have rested their cases, but we're still not announcing the winners yet. This was their brand pitch for us. And you'll have to stay connected to all the updates on Effie Pakistan social media pages. Ali, do you have anything else to say? And then we are just going to wind up the program. It was great having you all here. Pleasure to have all the finalists. And these were big brands for us. These were really inspiring brands for all the marketers. I will just check onto the comments. And Ali, if you want to add on something, if you've got any questions.
I think nothing at all. And I think, again, and especially to Unilever, to Coca-Cola, and all other brands out there who are participating in Effie's, thank you for the support. I think as an industry, we need a platform that represents us. However that is. So I believe that this is one platform where it's undivided. There are no egos, there are no disputes, and we just come together as a fraternity. Win or lose, I think that's regardless of the fact. But just coming together and celebrating what we do day in, day out, I think it's a huge accomplishment just to begin with. So thank you for you guys to be a part of it every year. And thank you for giving us communication that makes us feel good about ourselves and the work that we do. And let's continue creating magic once this entire ordeal is over. And even if you're creating magic while this pandemic is going on, just be safe. When there's a will, there's a way. So thank you, and thank you, Afshin, for making me a part of Effie's Air In Air Out. It's a pleasure, and I thoroughly enjoy working with you guys.
It's great to have you, Ali, always. So we have a couple of questions. We have a couple of comments, praises for mine.
वो एक ही के लिए है, वो बस माइन के लिए है, आप छोड़ दे, बाकी किसी के लिए नहीं है. और रमेशा के लिए है. मैं और समीर तो ऐसी साइड पे.
So we've got one question, Anusha Mirza. Are there any passion points that you intend to tap into? I don't know if this is for if this is for mine, or is this because उन्होंने address नहीं किया है. Her first question is, are there any passion points that you intend to tap into? So who would like to answer this question?
Ramisha, I think you would want to take this question.
Yeah, okay. Afshin, as we spoke about PSL as well, we know that there are two main passion points that exist in Pakistan. That's music and sports primarily, and cricket leading the sports. So year on year, we do take and tap into multiple passion points. Music is, as we said, it's led by Coca-Cola through Coke Studio. We have cricket that's being divided. And then there's football that Coca-Cola again leveraged when the World Cup was happening. So I think right now we are tapping into enough passion points, and as we feel that there's more need to develop and tap into new passion points that are emerging for the youth, we'll keep on evolving with that.
Okay, so I think there are no more questions. The other question is, I think you've answered that question as well. It was a kind of part or a look to the same question, which was especially with the new age of digital and passion points emerging within that world. So I guess with that we end our session. Second session of our finalists. I thank you all, Main, Sameer, and Ramisha, and Ali. Wish you all happy awards winning. Stay safe, stay connected. And for all the people out there, I just want to remind that stay tuned to our social media pages, as we have more interviews lined up post-Eid with the finalists in other categories. Thank you, Ali, for taking out time. And
pleasure, Afshin.
Insightful session with you all, and I'm sure you guys have inspired people out there.
And before we log off, Eid Mubarak to you guys and to your families. Please stay safe, and inshallah, we'll see you on the other side soon.
I just want to say a big thank you to Afshin for moderating such a great session, especially doing it virtually. I think it's a big challenge, but you moderated it so well, and it was extremely fun and inspiring. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you guys for opting to attend the session. It was, I think, amazing. We had a good time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Eid Mubarak. Stay safe.
Mubarak. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.